Hi guys, it's Actual One. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope, as usual. I would never hope that you're not good, you lovely smelling people. So today I'm reviewing Cartier's Le Panthere. Yeah, Cartier. Never really dabbled too much into their fragrances, but I got some samples from beautyspin.co.uk. I know I mention them all the time, but I love them. Yeah, so I thought I'd try it out. It's kind of intrigued me a bit. The bottle really intrigued me a lot, and the colour of the liquid, I was a bit intrigued by all of that. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with this one. I'll tell you what it's about anyway. This is a feminine or aimed at women fragrance. It came out in 2014, and it's a chypre. It's a modern chypre. Now, chypres, if you watch my channel, you'll know that the classic kind are just really my worst kind of fragrances, but modern chypres, different kettle of fish. So there are different versions of this. This is the Eau de Parfum version. There are a few flankers of it. You've got the extrait or extrait, I can't pronounce that word ever, and then there's one called légère as well, all with this faceted detail on the glass that looks like a panther face. Really cool. So I'll tell you what it says on their website. And also I'll put links below to Beautyspin if you want to get a sample of this, if you want to buy it. It's at a reduced rate. Beautyspin.com, beautyspin.co.uk. Great site, legitimate, love them. So it says on the Cartier website, and I have to try and read this without squinting or coming close to the camera, it says a captivating perfume that reflects a liberated, passionate woman. Okay. A feline floral fragrance. I'm not sure where the feline comes into it, but okay. Born out of radiant, delicate gardenia, coming together with velvety notes of musk. Within the flask, a sculpture, blah 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 blah. You don't need to know about that, because let's face it, you're here to hear about the smell, not about the bottle. Something about femininity and something about the glory of a radiant gardenia. Sensual yet delicate for an animal touch. There's a velvety musk as well. Blah blah blah. Let's get on to the fragrance. Anyway, so let me put it on my skin. This is a good one. I really like this. I think I've got a few bits and pieces to say about it, but we'll see how it goes, shall we? So the top note is, and bear with me because it's a very unusual thing to say, it's styrolyl acetates. Basically it's a completely, dare I say, synthetic opening. It's a synthetic molecule that creates notes of green and nuances of fruity notes that are like strawberry, rhubarb, apricot, apple and dried fruit. So it's a fake thing, it's a chemical thing, but it does give a lot of stuff in the opening in terms of fruits basically. The heart note is gardenia. One gorgeous white flower, and then the base notes are oak moss and musk. You cannot have a chypre without oak moss, and that's what always scares me away, because oak moss is scary, cupboard, awful. Now the opening, it starts out kind of quite brash and perfumey. I hate to say the word perfumey, but yeah, it does. It starts a bit eek, I think. But when it starts to settle, it's really, really good. I think this smells really luxurious. I think it smells quite expensive. It reminds me, I want to say it's kind of Chanel-esque. There's a lot going on, but right away it's got quite harsh, high-pitched fruits that are quite hard to determine. Think of rhubarb. Rhubarb's quite sour when you taste it, quite bitter and a little bit tart. And that's the type of fruity smell that I get from this. And then it's got this kind of dusty smelling tone to it as well. So you've got these kind of harsh fruits and stuff, but then you've got this almost expensive smelling dusty tone. It's a very unusual one, and it's baffled me for a while, and I go back and forth with, I really want this, or I really want this to, not sure. ultimately I've settled on that I don't, but that's besides the point. There's a kind of juicy sourness that's reminding me very much of Narciso by Narciso Rodriguez, the newer one that he's released in the black and white square bottles. I reviewed that recently, and it's the Gardenia. Gardenia is really prevalent in this. It's basically the entire heart, so I'm getting that from this as well. I couldn't put my finger on Gardenia before. It's quite a difficult one, but I can only describe it as quite a sharp but sour flower. Sour flower! That rhymes. So yeah, it's quite sour, and it kind of goes between being, I'm trying to be creamy, but I'm just ending up being like sour, milky flour. But it's still quite pleasant. It's not an awful smell in any way. And what you've got next to it is this, just a touch of oak moss that's giving it this dusty feel. I always say that oak moss smells like cupboard. I think it's very like old books, kind of weird, strange wood. But the oak moss in this is an accent, thankfully. It's not overtaking, which is thankfully why I like it. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really interesting, I think, and it doesn't smell anything like I thought it was going to. So it's a little bit shocking in that way. Like I said, Gardenia is a bit confusing on the nose. It's a white flower. It does have some similarities to jasmine, but where jasmine is usually quite dry, brash, if you're talking about, you know, the most common jasmine, which is Jasminium grandiflorum, to get technical on your ass. Gardenia it's kind of there, but it's got a smooth sourness over it, and that's what makes this a bit unusual. And it's the same thing, I can smell the same thing here than I can in Narciso, which if you watch my review, I was all over the place. I couldn't decide what on earth I was smelling at that time. So think of how rhubarb tastes if you've ever eaten it before. It's a very British thing, rhubarb and custard, rhubarb crumble. I hated it as a child. But rhubarb tastes, it makes your face go like this a little bit. And that's a little bit how it translates into the fragrance. It makes me go, okay, that's a bit weird. But when it actually settles and it gets into its groove a little bit, I start to feel this very luxurious kind of feel come out of it. It's, like I said, it smells a little bit like something Chanel would make, I think. And, you know, Cartier pride themselves on being a very prestigious, classy, elegant brand. And this fragrance, I think, does actually go there. It's not pretty. It's not something you think, oh, that's pretty, I want to smell like that. But it's definitely, it's got an air of mystery about it. Like, I always want to smell it again. It's not a massive fragrance either. It's very much just around your personal space. And I'd love to kind of lavish myself with this one just to really whoosh it. Doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean, right? Really hard review, guys, not gonna lie. It's a tough one. If it's a modern chypre, they're a little bit hard to dissect, I think. But yeah, if you like it anyway, if you like the sound of it, go and get a sample from beautyspin.co.uk. Try it out, spritz it in a shop, see what you think. Try and get over that brush opening, because it does actually, you know, eventually become something that I think's quite wearable and mysterious. I like it. And much more know, click my logo to subscribe, down there, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye!